Hey, welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at Woodwerks. This is the second weekly update, and so I got a lot of things that have been going on last week and that I'm going to be working on, so I'll just kind of jump into it. So last week I had that big order, and I got everything done. It's actually going to be shipping tomorrow. It could have been shipped on Friday, but I ran into some issues. Now, I wanted to talk about that order and maybe pass on some tips for people that sell, and especially people that use PayPal. This is an international order. I have no clue who these people are. Supposedly it's going to Brunei Polytechnic University. I can't verify that though. So coming up on finishing that project, I got an email from Carl, and he's like, "Look, man, I hope you, I hope you get paid, because I got a buddy that did this whole thing and got totally screwed on it." And I'm like, "Oh, I got a down payment, Carl. It's cool." Well, then I started looking into some of the scams and how they work. I just wasn't really aware of them, and it turns out that even if you get a down payment, that doesn't really make any difference if the account or the credit card or whatever, the payment came from a fraudulent source. If that happens, PayPal finds out, they cancel it, and you lose money. Now, I hear that the big scam, I think they call it the Nigerian prince, or I don't know, something. What happens is people pay you more money than your product's even worth, and supposedly the argument or something is to cover shipping, and then they request a refund. Well, what ends up happening is, let's say you got paid $1,000, but the product was, your product was only $800 to begin with. They say, "Oh, refund me the extra $100 or whatever, and the shipping will be $100, or however that works." But if you send them a payment of $200, they're going to get that payment. But if that initial payment from them was fraudulent, it's going to be reverted 100%. So what ends up happening is you lost the $1,000 plus you paid them $200. So just watch out for these scams. Frankly, with this order, I actually think it's a scam, and I'm at this point just prepared to lose my pants on this order. Hopefully that's not the case. It has a lot of weird things going on, and I don't like it. Now, one thing I also want to share is with PayPal there is a thing called seller protection. I'm a little bit skeptical about how much protection I'm actually going to get in certain circumstances, how it's going to work. But if you use PayPal, make sure that you send it to the address that was, with the payment. When somebody paid the payment, there's going to be an address from that person from PayPal. PayPal has that on record. Make sure that you're sending it to that specific address first. You have to do that. If the order is over $750, you also have to have signature confirmation on that shipping. So, and I think there's maybe a couple other things you got to kind of keep an eye on with those. But if you sell with PayPal, make sure that you read through the seller protection guidelines, because it's very important. Now, the way this order is going is it was going to a different address than the payment came from, and frankly the payment didn't even come from the guy that ordered it. So like I said, it's kind of bad news, but we'll see how everything works out. But I had to stop right before I was about to ship that thing and contact the guy and go, "Look, I'm not sending it to some random address. I'm sending it to that one, or else we're canceling." And he got back to me. I was hoping to actually burn him out of the weeds with a lot of harsh talking about, "I just talked to PayPal," but he said, "Okay, just send it there." So we'll see. I don't know what's going on with this. But other than that, so the big order's done. I had a blast doing all the casting. I came up with some really awesome different designs. I got to use something that I haven't used a lot of. I usually use the Alumilite White, and this time I did a lot more with the Alumilite Clear using mica powders, and I don't have a lot of experience with those, but man, you get some good results with them. So had a lot of fun with that. I'll throw some pictures up at the end of all the blanks. I got quite a few pictures while I was doing them. One thing that happened while I was doing that is I actually ran out of stabilized sagebrush at one point, and I had to make some more. But I had some random materials lying around, and I thought, well, I'll try and cast a few extra things. And one of the things was pine cones that I had stabilized, and so I'm like, well, dump them in the pot, see what happens. they turned out really awesome. So I actually made another pine cone blank mold today. Um, and it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Now, with these pine cones, I didn't actually stabilize them. I'm not 100% certain how much good stabilizing pine cones does. So I did dry them very well, but they're not stabilized. I'm going to test these out, but either way, even if they're not stabilized, it's not like the blanks are worthless. The pine cones may be a little bit more brittle, basically. So I'm going to have these up for sale. I'll find out how they turn. If everything's fine, I don't have any problems or anything like that, they'll probably just be normal price. Quit dropping them. Probably be normal price, but if the stuff's a little bit more difficult to turn, they'll probably be on a little bit discounted. But they really give you some really awesome, I don't know, just the pine cones, the sections of the pine cones really look awesome. So these ones are a red, well, actually what I did was I used Lumelite clear resin, and then I used red dye, so the normal red Alumilite dye. Probably got stuff all over me. And then I added some pearl mica powder to the mix. And then the other thing was I mixed in some copper color, and that just kind of adds a little bit of metallic, some weight to it. So it should be kind of an interesting blank. So I'll probably turn that tomorrow and see how that goes. Now, the other thing that I did this week was I tried my hand at double dyed stabilizing. So I guess that's what it's called. And it turned out okay. Now I did turn one of these chunks into a pen. I was a little bit, I'm going to say, disappointed in the double dyeing thing. Now, these look neat on the outside, but if you scrape it off, it's mostly red, is what you see. So there's not a lot of purple, so I didn't get that kind of what you typically expect with these things, where it's kind of really two colors going on and some blending in the middle. I haven't seen that yet. I'm going to turn some more of these chunks and see if maybe, I don't know, maybe some of these are different. So I'm still working on that. The technique that I use, I don't want to share right now. I got this from somebody who doesn't really want it shared necessarily. I'm going to talk to him and see if he doesn't mind me doing a thing on how to do this. I'm not sure, but it's really not my information, so I don't want to do that. Now, I do want to say a couple things about information and how to and all that stuff. Typically, I'm upfront about everything that I do, and I'll show you how I do it. I don't personally think that there's maybe a couple things that are, such a good thing to keep that only you know of, that maybe you should keep a couple things in your pocket. But for the most part, most of these methods of doing things, I don't really see them as that valuable. I think that people that the people that are going to become your competition, they're going to find out whether you tell them or not. So best thing to do is make a good product and have good customer service if you're running a business. Having business secrets and certain things, I think if everything's relying on your secret process, I think you're going to be screwed in the short run. So typically I will share it. I just want to get the okay to do that with this specific thing. So double dyeing was cool. Like I said, they turned out cool. The pen looks fabulous. It's a really nice pen. It's just not exactly what I was hoping for. So I also wanted to mention that Dominic's doing a challenge contest thing on YouTube this month, and it's the challenge tree. So you need to use, I may screw up these rules. There's not really any rules, but you need to use like a branch, like a serious, normal, raw piece of wood, basically. And it needs to not be taller than you, but technically you could just cut it smaller. So I think that's pretty much it, and you can make whatever you want out of it. So what I got here is an apple tree branch that we cut down like 3 years ago, so it's been sitting in my shop forever, and thought, well, I got my little branch thing. And what I think I'm going to do is, last month at the local wood turning club, one of the members did a demo on off-axis turning. So, you kind of start, usually you're going to line up, get off me. usually you're going to line up, your spindle or whatever you're turning on the center of that spindle. But off-axis turning is, you don't have the centers hitting the center of the piece, and so it's kind of doing this kind of weird off-axis turning thing. And what ends up happening is you can do little weird stages in it, and so it's kind of a cool thing. What he made with it was like this miniature birdhouse, which I'm sorry, that's not really that exciting to me, but I do have that project. It was kind of cool. I figure I may as well make one, but the off-axis stuff is the kind of stand underneath it, and then you just use you'll have to watch the video. So that's what I'm doing. So definitely go over and check out Dominic's channel, and if you want to enter into the challenge tree contest, definitely make something out of a log, basically a piece of wood, and I think you just send photos. I don't exactly know, but I'm going to shoot a video, and I'm also sponsoring the contest, so I got a few blanks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send out, it's like you get a blank, one of the sagebrush acrylic blanks that I make, and I'm going to send a slimline pen kit. So unfortunately I lean towards turning stuff mostly for everything I do, so sorry if you're not a turner. Hopefully he can arrange the prizes and get those to people that turn. And before I go, I also wanted to say congratulations to Matt Cremona and April Wilkerson for ditching the 9-to-5 and pursuing YouTube and making stuff, sharing information. That's really cool. So good luck to your new ventures. I'm really excited to see what you guys do with your full focus basically on making content and working on projects. So I'll be following you and supporting you. That's really cool. As you can see, I am sporting some new duds. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the shirts and stuff that I wear have holes in them and all that stuff, and so I've been meaning to replace some of those nasty shirts and all that kind of stuff with something a little bit nicer. So I've went out and found everything that I could find with people that have t-shirts and stuff like that, so I'll continue to do that. Now I also got some stickers from people that do have them, and I think what I'm going to do is actually cover my pressure pot, because it doesn't make any sense for me to put them on my bandsaw. Maybe on the lathe area, somewhere on the lathe. So I'm still debating, but I'm going to be proudly supporting anybody else on YouTube or whatever that's got stickers, and I'll display them. So very cool. I'm excited about that. If you have any questions or comments about what I'm working on, anything in the shop, whatever, anything for me, leave a comment down below on YouTube. You can also email me at zach@nvwoodworks.com. I'm on Twitter and Facebook, so you can follow me there. And I think that's about it. Oh, I will have pine cone blanks. I need to get pictures and all that kind of stuff. I always say that I'm going to have these things listed, and it takes me a while to get them actually up there because I'm editing video and trying to sell other stuff. So soon I will have these pine cone blanks, and I only have like five of them right now. But I will have the listing up there, and I'll make more. So if you're interested in getting some pine cone blanks, they're pretty cool. You might want to wait. I'll probably have a link also after I actually turn these, so you can kind of see what they actually look like. I'm pretty excited. They're pretty cool. So have those available. Other than that, I will see you next week. I'll have another update, and I should have another video coming out hopefully next week. Maybe I'll do the kind of walkthrough on the pressure pot, the new one. So be looking for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.